We got to talk about Kanye West and Jim Brown having a lunch at the White House yesterday, which was Thursday, October 11, 2018. Now, I knew that it would be a media circus, a big time media fallout. I don't quite think I was prepared for what happened, but we'll get into all of that. And we'll also get into what Kanye West said, because I think that's the most important thing here. Regardless of what the media says and people on social media, whatever, the most important thing is what was said during this particular lunch. Now, I'm not going to play the full thing, but I will have that in the box below if you want to see it for yourself. I'll play some highlights of what Kanye West said, and then I'll also play some lowlights of the media reaction to it. People really just went way over the line. I will address that. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and roll the clips. After we get done with the clips, I'll talk about each of them, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
You know, people expect that if you're black, you have to be Democrat. I've had conversations that basically said that welfare is the reason why a lot of black people end up being Democrat. They say, you know, first of all, it's a limit to amount of jobs. So the fathers lose the jobs, and they say, we'll give you more money for having more kids in your home. And then we got rid of the mental health institutes in the 80s and the 90s, and the prison rates just shot up. And now you have Chirac. You know, they tried to scare me to not wear this hat, my own friends, but this hat, it gives me power in a way. You know, my dad and my mom separated, so I didn't have a lot of male energy in my home. And also, I'm married to a family that, you know, not a lot of male energy going on. It's beautiful though. It was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. You made a Superman, that's my favorite superhero, and you made a Superman cape. You have to bring manufacturing onshore, not even shore, into the core. It's not about the borders, the core of Adidas, and Chicago is the core of Middle America. We have to make Middle America strong. There's a lot of things affecting our mental health that makes us do crazy things, that puts us back into that trap door called the 13th Amendment. I did say abolish with the hat on, because why would you keep something around that's a trap door? If he don't look good, we don't look good. This is our president. He has to be the freshest, the flyest planes, the best factories, and we have to make our core be empowered. We have to bring jobs into America, because our best export is entertainment and ideas. But when we make everything in China and not in America, then we're cheating on our country. And we're putting people in positions to have to do illegal things to end up in the cheapest factory ever, the prison system. The liberal will try to control a black person through the concept of racism, because they know that we are very proud, emotional people. So when I said I like Trump to like someone that's liberal, they'll say, oh, but he's racist. You think racism can control me? Oh, that don't stop me. That's an invisible wall. I don't answer questions in simple sound bites. You are tasting a fine wine. It has multiple notes to it. You better play 4D chess with me like it's Minority Report, because it ain't that simple. It's complex. Stop and frisk does not help the relationships in the city. And everyone that knew I was coming here said, ask about stop and frisk. That's the number one thing that we're having this conversation about. We got Levi's, the greatest jeans company in the world, making their jeans in Vietnam. So we're gonna need to get a few breaks to be able to have some places in my hometown of Chicago, in the 2.7 million to the 9 million surrounding suburbs, where we can create some factories. Now, I think it'd be cool for them to be Trump factories, because he's a master of industry, he's a builder. The problem is illegal guns. Illegal guns is the problem, not legal guns. We have the right to bear arms. I love this guy right here. Let me give this guy a hug right here. I love this guy right here.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Come here. Yeah. That's really nice. And that's from the heart. I didn't want to put you in that position, you know, but that's from the heart. Special guy. These two are special people.
This is white supremacy by ventriloquism. A black mouth is moving, but white racist ideals are flowing from Kanye West's mouth. Kanye West is engaging in one of the most nefarious practices yet. A black body and brain are the warehouse for the articulation and expression of anti-black sentiments that have been chin-checked by people with far more rigorous credentials.
What I saw was a minstrel show today. Him in front of all of these white people, mostly white people, embarrassing himself and embarrassing Americans, but mostly African Americans, because every one of them is sitting either at home or with their phones watching this, cringing. This was an embarrassment. Kanye's mother is rolling over in her grave. I spoke to one of her friends today, or texted with one of her friends today from Chicago, Donda's friends. I used to live there. I know him. She said Donda would be embarrassed by this. She would be terribly disturbed by this. And Kanye has not been the same since his mother died. Kanye, back away from the cameras, go get some help, and then come back and make your case.
I'm just stunned across the board. You?
I thought I thought they were going to have a conversation, which we would follow up on, in part on criminal justice reform, sentencing, and prisons, which is, by the way, a bipartisan, really important idea. That was mostly nonsense, but there were some things in there that probably are worth discussing.
Okay, so you saw that, you heard what's going on, you see what's going on. Now, there is a lot to, as the cool kids say, unpack in these particular clips. Let's start positive. You know, I want to be a good guy today. I don't want to get triggered. I want to start with the positive things first, and that is what Kanye West was talking about. Now, to address maybe a small elephant in the room, Kanye West is not the most eloquent person in the world. He's not one of these guys who's going to get on television, read from a teleprompter, have point A, B, and C carefully thought out and crafted and using these, fantastic and elaborate words. He's not that kind of guy. Never has been. It doesn't even really matter at the end of the day because he's still able to get good ideas out there. Kanye West, and I've said this before, kind of reminds me of a Jordan Peterson. You go to hear him talk as kind of a stream of consciousness, and you may not be able to quite grasp everything, but you're able to take a lot from what he says. And that's just kind of how it is. The media does not like that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, first things first, jobs. He did talk about bringing jobs back to the USA. And I think that's a thing that all of us can agree on, regardless of whether you're a Kanye West fan or not. That's a thing that Donald Trump ran on, and why many of us voted for him, to bring jobs back from China and Malaysia, Indonesia, whatever, bring them back here to pump more money into the economy that many Americans desperately needed. He talked about helping middle America, and he said Chicago would be a great place. Obviously, he's from Chicago. Why not do that? I think what Kanye West said in that one little piece of information, that one soundbite, was much more than Barack Obama did for Chicago. He's talking about bringing jobs right back to the city of his origin. Obama did not bring, or did not speak of bringing any jobs back to his quote unquote city of origin, although he's from Indonesia and Hawaii, but I digress. My point is that he's talking about bringing jobs back. People did not like Donald Trump talking about stop and frisk as a good thing. I personally believe in stop and frisk. If you live in a dangerous area, it could save lives. But Kanye West said that's not really a good idea. So people criticize Trump for saying, or for alluding to, stop and frisk being a good thing and how it's racist, is that, and the third. Kanye goes there and says, I'm against stop and frisk as well, and people attack Kanye West. Again, I'll get to that later. He also spoke about the welfare state, and people got triggered over that. And I was just clapping, applauding him all the way through. He was talking about how you have the single parent household and the welfare state, and how black folks start to vote for Democrat. I thought that was fantastic, because many of us on the conservative side of things have been saying that for a long time. Even some of my more moderate kind of liberal friends have been saying that. You got all these welfare programs, the child support system, the family court, all of that is there, maybe not necessarily for the express purpose of, but it has the express result of tearing the family apart. So what he said here was correct, and I'm glad that somebody of Kanye West's stature was able to say that in the White House with the whole world watching. That is a very important key fact that everybody needs to know about. Also, he was talking about this whole concept of racism and how people use it against black folks as some kind of weapon to shame them into doing a thing. One key point was when he was saying how people were trying to persuade him to not support Donald Trump, and they said he was a racist. And then he was like, you think that's going to stop me? Now, some would interpret that as him saying that Donald Trump is racist, but he doesn't care. He's still going to be able to get along with him, give him a hug, give him a handshake, pound, or whatever, say he loves him. But I don't think that's what he was saying. What I think he was saying is that you can't use this term racism against me and have me just acquiesce to your will, right? They do that a lot to conservatives, especially white conservatives. They say you're racist. It's like worse than being called a child molester or a murderer or something like that. Kanye said you're not going to be able to use that term and weaponize it against me or anybody else, especially black folks, because that's not going to work anymore. It's an invisible wall. And that's what I've said for a long time about this whole concept of white supremacy. It is nothing. It is a boogeyman. It is a specter. It is an imaginary thing. Like Kanye West said, and I got to take that from my man, shout out to him, it is an invisible wall. It does not really exist, and it definitely does not control my life. So Kanye West made a lot of great points here. People can say whatever they want. They can say that it was incoherent dribble. They can say that he was having a meltdown on television. He has mental health issues. All of that is a bunch of BS because Kanye has been the exact same way all throughout his career, in my humble opinion. Now, let's go ahead and jump to the negative reaction from the media, of which there was no shortage of. Let's start with Don Lemon. Don Lemon, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Bringing this man's dead mother up. Are you serious? See, that's fighting words right there. I'm not threatening the man, so don't nobody get triggered. Don't nobody say, hey, but y'all threatening to beat up Don Lemon. No, that's fighting words. You're bringing up somebody's dead mom to attack them. Look, it's one thing if it's me and I say something on television, attack me all day. But you start to get at wife, kids, mom, dad. See, now you're getting into dangerous territory. You think because you're on television and you're a black person that nobody's going to call you on it. You're on TV, nobody's going to get at you on the street. And because you're black, nobody can say that you're a racist or a bigot. But I'm here to say that you're very bigoted, sir. You're disgusting. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And you're a hypocrite talking about Kanye West trying to put on for all these white people. Meanwhile, you put on for white men in the bedroom, sir. So I'm not really trying to hear anything from you at all. Shout out to my man Herschel Walker, a football legend, who says that Don Lemon should be taken off the air due to what he said about Kanye West even before the meeting in the White House with Jim Brown and himself. And I think he's 100% correct, because you can't just, disrespect people like that, treat them like garbage and call yourself a journalist and have your show. Imagine if that was a white person talking about a black liberal that way. I mean, they tried to boycott Laura Ingraham for saying shut up and dribble, even though she said that exact same thing, to shut up and blank blank to other people, because her book is named Shut Up and Whatever, which has come out many years ago. All right. They called her a racist. They said she need taken off Fox News. She's a white supremacist, KKK. But yet Don Lemon can get on TV and say what he says, and it's okay. Speaking about white supremacists, Michael Eric Dyson calling Kanye West a white supremacist and blackface. Didn't I tell y'all that in the previous video, how they try to call people like me a white supremacist? Some of you may have said, ABL, you're exaggerating. You're doing a little bit too much. That's not really how it goes. Welcome to my world, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we got to deal with all the time, every day. This is nothing new for me, but to you, it may be totally foreign. And I have evidence of it right here in full color, right on your television screen, cell phone screen, or whatever the case may be. All right. How does that make any sense to call Kanye West white supremacist? Then are you talking about he's a white supremacy through ventriloquism? I mean, it's stupidity. What did Kanye say that was quote unquote anti-black? I'll wait. I did not hear anything that he said that was anti-black. If anything, he's more of a pro-black than you are. You want to get on television, on CNN, wherever you were, owned by the white man, attacking another black man for not being quote unquote black enough, but you want to call him the white supremacist, you're stupid. It doesn't make any sense. All these big words, I'm not really fooled by at all. You can have the vocabulary of an intelligent man, but the brain power of a fool. We're not talking about Barack Obama here. We have totally just neglected to even mention his 8 years in office and what he did when he was there. Do you remember when he had Glozell in the Oval Office? Shout out to my man Mark Dice for this particular video clip here.
When you do something over and over again for 50 years and it doesn't work, it's time to try something new.
Okay.
Do you remember that? Okay, you have a YouTuber that's in a tub of milk and cereal, scooping it into her mouth, vomiting and scooping it back in her mouth. And Obama meets with her and there's no problem there. There's no mockery of the Oval Office. This is all good. All right. Obama had the rapper Rick Ross in the Oval Office for some kind of youth summit or something like that. After Obama gives a speech, Rick Ross's ankle monitor goes off loudly. Is that making the mockery of the Oval Office? And let's not even go back in time in the Democratic Party a little bit. In the 90s, when you had Slick Willie in there, what did he do in the Oval Office with one Monica Lewinsky? I won't get too graphic. This is a family show, but you could put two and two together. You know what I'm getting at. Did Donald Trump do anything like that? He's reaching out to everybody, whoever it is. He is not a racist person, not a classist person, not a sexist person. He's speaking to everybody and letting them use that platform for whatever they want. All right. He's able to communicate with them, being able to get things done, and also allowing them to communicate with the world to get their message out there. What's wrong with that? Obama did not do a thing like this. Matter of fact, Obama called Kanye West a jackass. Remember that? Oh, but that's fine. That's not racist. That's not intolerant. When they see Kanye with his MAGA hat on, they know that he's going to influence people like myself and many others to follow in his footsteps. All right. They know that he has a big following in the black community. And shout out to Candace Owens for this particular stat point. If the Democrats secure less than 85% of the black vote in a national election, it's over with. They can't win anymore. They are dependent upon our votes the same way they were dependent upon our labor. But I digress. If they do not secure 85% of the vote from the black community, they're finished. They're toast. So what are they going to do? They're going to call up every person that's black to get on television to speak negatively against Kanye West as a countermeasure, because they say, okay, Michael Eric Dyson, Don Lemon, et cetera, you guys can speak against Kanye West and black folks will hear you. We got to counteract what Kanye is saying. But they don't know people like myself, Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum. We have big platforms that people watch as well. So you guys on the old dying media, you're fighting a losing man's game. You're not going to be able to gain anybody by doing this. What you should be doing is trying to get the more moderate road. You can agree with certain things that Kanye West said and disagree with others. Just like my man Dave Chappelle said, there's going to be an interview that comes out tomorrow, which is Saturday, October the 13th, 2018 on CNN. I heard or I read a preview of it. In the preview, Dave Chappelle was like, look, I don't agree with everything Kanye West says, but I love the man and I respect him. I don't have to agree with everything he says to respect the man. And I think that is what the Democrats should do. Unfortunately, that's not what they're doing. But fortunately for us, they are doing it, because all they're going to do is drive more people over to our side and away from them. So if they enjoy losing, if they enjoy not being able to be successful anymore, I say keep on rocking. You're not doing a bad job at helping us on the right out. So what do you think? Do you think that Kanye West was on point with what he said in the White House? Do you think that there were some things you agree with, some things you don't agree with? How do you feel about the media's reaction to Kanye West? Talking about the MAGA hat, gave him the male energy, made him feel powerful. I agree with that. I have on my MAGA hat. I feel powerful. I feel like, you know, I'm doing something that the left does not want me to do, and I'm challenging you to do something about it. If you have a bunch of us, hundreds of us, thousands of us, millions of us that go against the popular narrative in the black community, maybe, just maybe, you'll see some change. But I'm talking a lot right here. I want to hear from you guys, and whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments.